Hola, muy bien, ¿cómo estás? Gracias, ¿y tú? Welcome to the greatest truth in comedy live stream. Who is that? Oh, it's me. Welcome to the greatest. Looks like I'm coming in loud and clear. As I was saying before I was so rudely interrupted by me, welcome to the greatest truth in comedy live stream, not only on the internet, but in the entire world that ever existed anywhere that you could ever even fathom. That's what this is. All right. Before we even started, we have some people contributing to this program. We have Adrian Preston. He says, Happy New Year's, Jake. Love you, bro. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Happy New Year's to you. PJC Net says, here's a second early one. Happy New Year, Jake. Thank you, PJC Net. Getting us started. Let's see. I think, another super chat come in from Florida Todd. Florida Todd coming in with a super chat. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. All right. Who else is here? Who else is ready to party? Let's see, we got Asa Hall says, brother, and a nice mushroom emoji. You know, I like those mushrooms. All right, who else is here? We got Hopey Dopey says, yo, yo. Yo, yo, bro. Rose Bellman, one of my beautiful mods, is here. She says, hello, everyone. Al Jordan, too, says, hiya, Jake. Hiya, Al Jordan. Oh man, who else do we got? Mangala Raj says return of the doink. That's basically a catchphrase that now follows me wherever I go. Like when I go walking down the street, people are like, hey, there's that return of the doink guy. No, I'm kidding. That doesn't happen. But online, in the comments section, very much so. Okay. JT's here also, says, let's go. Let's get it on. All right. Antoine Pug says, Jake the Goat. I hope you mean greatest of all time and not literally a goat. Okay. Greatest of all time, yes. Literally a goat, no. Faith is here, another one of my beautiful mods. She says, my feed froze up. Well, you haven't missed much. I'm still going over my hellos to the audience. So refresh the screen. Hopefully everything gets fixed. We have a heavy one tonight, guys. This stream is going to get real heavy real quick. You know, you guys know I like to have fun, keep it comedic and whatnot. But you also know I deliver the truth and I don't hold back. I don't pull punches and I tell it like it is. And tonight, I'm going to drop some truth that some of you probably already know about, some of you don't, and you're not going to be able to forget once I show you what I'm going to show you. All right, Rose Billman says, goat equals devil. Yeah, they have that's like a Masonic deal with the goat. But if he means greatest of all time, then I'm okay with that. So it's okay if you're calling me the greatest of all time. I'll accept that. But Rose is pointing out, yeah, the Masons and the evil ones, they like to use a goat as one of their symbolic animals, I guess. All right. Paul Hollowcat is here. Hollowcat is in the house. God bless Rusty. Yes, thank you. I've been feeling better. So it's been a week now, over a week since he passed. And for those of you who haven't heard, tragically, my dog passed. And I was very broken and devastated. But after 4 or 5 days went by, I started to feel better. And I picked myself up and dusted myself off and realized, you know, I got to continue to put the truth out there and do my thing. And so he will always be missed. So got a super sticker from Paul Hollowcat. Thank you, buddy. Sean Kerr says, what is your channel based on? My channel started 7 years ago, and I am a actual truth channel. I'm probably the only legitimate real truth channel that is not affiliated with any corporation or any shitbaggery. I'm as far from a shill as you can possibly be, while still telling the truth and actually trying to make it entertaining in order to get new people. And so I talk about everything from the Earth not being a spinning ball in outer space, NASA not going to outer space ever, the VAXX being poison, shootings being government hoaxes, stuff like that. Basically the real truth that most people are afraid to talk about. We talk about it here. And since I label my video, my stream as comedy, and I try to say a few funny things here and there, we're able to get away with a lot more than other channels because this is a comedy routine. And anything you want to draw a conclusion from or do your own research, you're able to do that while I present you my comedy routine, which just so happens to be full of the real truth. So that's what my channel is in a nutshell. It's the real truth presented in a comedic fashion. So those of you who started watching because of the football content, football season's going to end soon and my regular content will resume. And as you'll see tonight, there's a lot of things going on in the world that are a lot worse than a rigged football game, like your life being rigged. So anyone who's new to the channel, and I see a lot of new names, buckle up, because I talk about a lot more than just football games being rigged. That's one of the things I talk about. And like I said, the season's coming to an end. All right. Hunter says 100% flat, bro. You see, here's the thing. I don't know what shape this world is, but I know what they told us about us living on a spinning oblate pear rock shooting through space is absolute bullshit. And I've proven that many a time. But what do we live on? What is this place? That I don't know. That's what makes me a legit truther, is I tell you that I don't know. And I don't fill you full of bullshit. All right, so are you guys ready to dive in? We have a heavy one tonight. All right. Like I said, this is one of those that once you learn this information, you're not going to be able to just forget about it so easily. So we'll start with a little video to get us going. It's a good video. Saw this one today and I was like, man, I have to play this in a live stream. All right.
Been more cautious when reading about COVID on Twitter.
Be extra cautious when you're looking for health information in the Twitterverse.
The company drops its COVID misinformation policy.
Twitter has dropped its COVID-19 misinformation policy.
Be cautious while looking for health information in the Twitterverse.
Be extra cautious while looking for health information in the Twitterverse.
Be extra cautious while looking for health information in the Twitterverse.
Be extra cautious while looking for health information in the Twitterverse.
Be extra cautious while looking for health information on the Twitterverse.
Be extra cautious while looking for health information on the Twitterverse.
Be extra cautious while looking for health information in the Twitterverse.
Be extra cautious while looking for health information on Twitter.
Be extra cautious while looking at health information on Twitter.
Be extra cautious while looking for health information on Twitter.
Be extra cautious while looking for health information on Twitter.
Be extra cautious while you're looking for health information on Twitter.
Be extra cautious while looking for health information on Twitter.
It is relying on the same sources, even using the same phrases. I mean, think of it. There are literally thousands of legitimate news stories that could be reported in a given day, and an infinite number of ways to report them. When everybody's on the same page, it might be the result of an organized campaign.
Hi, I'm Fox San Antonio's Jessica Headley.
And I'm Ryan Wolf.
Our greatest responsibility is to serve our Treasure Valley communities,
The El Paso, Las Cruces communities.
Eastern Iowa communities.
Mid-Michigan communities.
We are extremely proud of the quality, balanced journalism that CBS 4 News produces.
But
we are concerned about irresponsible, one-sided news stories plaguing our country.
Plaguing our country.
The sharing of biased and false news has become all too common on social media. More alarming, some media outlets publish these same fake stories without checking facts first.
The sharing of biased and
False news has become all too common on social media.
More alarming, some media outlets publish these things simply aren't true without checking facts first. Unfortunately, some members of the media use their platforms to push their own personal bias and agenda to control exactly what people think. And this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
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 Good Morning America is brought to you by Pfizer.
CBS Health Watch, sponsored by Pfizer.
Anderson Cooper 360. Brought to you by Pfizer.
ABC News Nightline. Brought to you by Pfizer. Making a difference. Brought to you by Pfizer.
CNN Tonight. Brought to you by Pfizer. Early Start. Brought to you by Pfizer. Friday night on Aaron Burnett Out Front. Brought to you by Pfizer.
This Week with George Stephanopoulos is brought to you by Pfizer.
This weather report brought to you by Pfizer.
Today's countdown to the royal wedding is brought to you by Pfizer.
And now a CBS Sports Update brought to you by Pfizer.
Meet the Press data download brought to you by Pfizer.
This portion of CBS This Morning sponsored by Pfizer.
On how to find the hidden sugars in the American family diet. Sponsored by Pfizer.
All right. I figured we would start there so that we can see the mainstream media, all those corporations, everyone's local news. It's all the same script. All the same script that they're reading. So where does that script come from? Who writes that script? Got a donation coming in. It says, Jake, do you think the Ukraine deal is rigged? All war is a business and a sham at this point. And so look no further than the Ukraine color teams winning last year, like the Rams and the Warriors. Rams win the Super Bowl with the Ukraine colors, and then the Warriors also win with Ukraine colors. Right now this year, that's not so much talked about as much. It's not as big of a deal. So they can put both those two teams on the back burner now. See? So it's kind of funny how the Ukraine thing was at its biggest last year. Right at the same time, the Rams were winning the Super Bowl and the Warriors were winning the NBA championship, who happen to have the same colors. Funny how rigged sports and rigged wars tie together. All right. Michael G says, real deal, Jake. Like I said, we hit hard around here. There are things a lot worse going on than rigged football games, y'all. So if you recently just started watching me, I drop truth bombs that you won't be able to forget about. And I haven't even started. All right. So, and thank you very much for the donation, Paul. I appreciate that. Very generous, kind of you. All right, guys. So I think now's about the time we get this stream started for real. For real, for real. That video was just a warm-up. This next one is going to downright give you the willies, the heebie-jeebies, or at least it should. It does to me. It's a subject I don't like to research, yet I can't stop researching it because I know it's true. I know it's true, and I don't want it to be true, but the truth is the truth whether you like it or not. All right, this one, I'm not going to lie, you're going to wish I never showed you this.
In 2012, quadriplegic Jan Schuerman was able to feed herself for the first time by using a robotic hand controlled by her thoughts. Doctors had wired a sensor into her brain that analyzed her neural activity. Now, University of California engineers have created a tiny wireless sensor they call neural dust. The devices could one day be implanted into the brain to wirelessly monitor neural signals and perhaps control prosthetics. Smaller than a grain of rice, neural dust is less irritating to the body than conventional electronic implants, which connect to the nerves using wires and can cause inflammation. Instead, the wireless sensors convert ultrasound vibrations into electricity and then transmit information to a receiver outside the body. Researchers implanted the small sensors into the sciatic nerve and leg muscles of rats and monitored the electrical signals between them. But the scientists hope that in the future, neural dust will be implanted directly into the brain to monitor brain function and allow electrical signals between them.
Okay, guys, here's the thing. They present these things to us. This is an old video. This technology, this video, this is like 6, 7 years old, this shit that I'm showing you. They present it as a breakthrough in the medical industry, a breakthrough for your health, to help you. They're going to be able to use these little gadgets that are so small, smaller than a grain of rice. I say they're even smaller than that now. And they'll be able to monitor your heart, monitor your brain, monitor your organs, you know, find out if you have a health problem so that you could come schedule an appointment. They can contact you and be like, hey, we found a problem in your heart with our little heart robot that we stuck in you. See, it sounds wonderful, doesn't it? They're going to save you. But let's now step into reality. What are they really doing with this? Could they do something bad with this? Could they somehow get these things smaller and smaller and smaller? Kind of like the cell phone. It just kept getting smaller and smaller, right? The computer chip gets smaller and smaller. The computer chip gets smaller and smaller, smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller until you can fucking breathe it in. Oh, you have it in you. Oh, you gonna go eat a burger? You might have ate 10 of those. Oh, you're gonna go buy a bag of rice? There might be 1,000 of these in your bag of rice. And then you eat it. Smaller than a grain of rice? Oh, by now it could be smaller, smaller, smaller than that. Have you felt like maybe you feel a little different? Maybe your life feels a little artificial. Have you felt a little strange lately? Like in the last, I don't know, few years, have you felt a little different? I'm not gonna lie, after seeing shit like this, I feel a little different. Feel just a little different. Is it all in my head that this shit could have been in the last burger that I ate? I'm not gonna lie, I don't always make the best food decisions, and even if you do, how do you know that this shit hasn't found its way into something you've eaten or drinking? Or inside of, you know, something as simple as like a product that you can put in your body. mouthwash, deodorant, shampoo. Just saying is all. And Kat, she knows what I'm thinking already, and she's already thinking that. So if you're new here and you haven't thought that anything artificial could enter your body and keep track of you and data mine you, read your fucking thoughts. Well, it's time to think about that. Because if you can think it, somebody who's evil may have invented it if they have a big enough budget. Oh shit, there it is on the screen right there. Yeah, that's the one they're showing you. That's the one that they show you on the TV. So the one that's extra smaller that you drank in your last soda or beer, yeah, that's not the one that's going to be on TV. And remember, this is a comedy routine. It's all meant to make you laugh. You can come to your own conclusions and just write me off as being crazy. A lot of people do, if it makes you feel better. All right. Faith is one of my mods. She and I text back and forth, and so she has a lot of interesting things to say. So she says advanced AI is what reads your thoughts, and it works with the nano dust. That's why you can think something, then 2 seconds later it's on your screen. Here's the thing is I notice little changes. I don't have any negative health effects that are like going wrong or anything, but I notice like little things like feel different. Like when I close my eyes, I can see shit that was never there before. Now, granted, I have done some drugs in my life, but also I can just feel the presence of something foreign has invaded me. Now, I haven't taken the jib jab. And so first thing people are going to talk about, and this is a prop. I use it to inoculate mushroom jars. Anyone who's ever done that will know what this is. So I use this as a prop. So anyone who sees this is going to think, oh, yeah, they definitely are putting that in the Jabberooski. We call it the Jabberooski. We use a prop. That's how we avoid detection on this channel. That's how we tell the truth and get away with it. So here's my prop. Easy to think that they got that stuff on the screen inside of a shot that they give to you. Ba-ching, right? So easy to think I never got that. So I don't have any of that in me. Well, they know lots of people don't want to get this, so I'll bet you they found other ways to get it inside of you and me. So can you say for sure that all the fluids you drink and all the food you ate is 100% contaminant free? No chance anyone ever got anything into it? I can't say that, and I'll bet you can't either. I'll bet at some point you ate at a restaurant or had a fast food burger or drank a beer from one of those major brand companies or whatever it was, and you just might have ingested this sort of thing. And then, of course, there's talk of like a dog shedding. You can shed this stuff possibly. Don't know. Could be. I used to say, no, that sounds like bullshit. But now, anything's possible in my mind. These are evil, evil people. We're an evil computer that we're up against. I don't even know if it's people we're up against. We could be up against a evil computer system at this point. I don't know what this place is or what the hell is going on, and why am I the smartest guy that I know? Why? I don't know. I don't know why I was born to be the guy that has to do this. It just naturally fucking happens, and it trips me out. Like right now, you guys don't know it. Tripping out inside my body. Like, why is this my life? I could have chose anything. Why am I doing this? So let's get back to this awesome video that you're never going to be able to forget. And I got more. I got more. Okay? So this is just the beginning.
But the scientists hope that in the future, neural dust will be implanted directly into the brain to monitor brain function and allow the movement of prosthetics without being wired into a bank of computers.
That might be a limb prosthetic. It might be an exoskeleton. It might be something more advanced, like a speech generator.
The scientists say it would resemble a Fitbit-like device that lives inside you and would monitor nerves, muscles, and organs in real time.
You can almost think of it as the sort of internal deep tissue Fitbit type of thing, right? Where you would be just collecting a lot of data that today we think of as very hard to access.
But the sensor has to be made even smaller to use it in the brain. So the scientists are working to create neural dust that is only half the width of a human hair. Deborah Block, VOA News, Washington.
That's just the one they're showing you, half the width of a human hair. I'll bet you by now they got them so damn small and can make them so easy and cheap that they can, I don't know, maybe shoot them out of the back of an airplane. Have you ever heard of coming out of the back of an airplane? You know, those trails in the sky. Who's to say they couldn't just shoot a bunch of tiny ass particles out of the back of a plane? You're hanging out with your kids at the park, walking your dog, being a person, and you breathe in some of this shit. Is it possible? Well, I just thought of it, so you better hope somebody evil hasn't decided to do that yet. Too late. I'll bet you they have. Yeah, I would say something along the nature of them getting that stuff into every living thing possible besides themselves is definitely what they're out to do. And if that's what they're showing us on TV, whoo, shit. Oh, it's way smaller than that. And you got to remember all these corporations that are in bed with each other, you know, like the government and McDonald's, the government and Walmart are like the same thing, right? They're the same thing. They're all in bed. So why wouldn't they just be distributing this shit into anything and everything they could possibly get it into? Sunflower says, look up. That's what we're looking. We're looking at that right now. We're talking about smart dust right now. They called it neural dust. Smart dust is more of like the new name people are talking about it now. But 6-7 years ago, when they first started talking about this and bringing videos of propaganda out to show us how it's going to be good, used for medical purposes to help you, they called it neural dust. So neural dust is smart dust. And that's all that we're talking about now. And yes, I agree. Look into it. And remember, there's a lot of misinformation, but there's also, you know, your own logical thoughts. Like, could somebody who's evil enough develop something tiny that could monitor you and track you? Yes. Would they want to do that? Sure. Have they probably already done that? Uh-huh. So that's all you have to ask yourself. All right. Yes, Sunflower, ever since they passed the Patriot Act, they can legally spy on us because we might all be bad guys. See how that works? You knock down a building or 2 or 3, however many, and that means they get to spy on you forever in any sort of way they want because you might be a bad guy. Sunflower, since you're hanging out here in my chat, you better believe they're going to keep an eye on you. Oh yeah, guys, just so you know, they keep an eye on me, so they're probably going to keep an eye on you if you interact with me. Just letting you know. So I have to believe that I have foreign invading objects inside here. trying to figure out this most complex and amazing human. I just have to assume they found a way to get that in me, even without taking a VAXX. No VAXX required. They found a way to get that shit into something I consumed. Oops. Shit. All right. Let me get rid of this video. We'll go on to the next one. And I'll maybe even look at a few comments, because I've been jib-jabbering. Here's a funny one. Chris L. Abate says, the butthole worms come from ramen noodles. That's probably the least of your problems, bro. I'm going to show you some stuff here in a little bit that will make butthole worms sound tame. Okay? Okay? Let me tell you something, all right? If you elect me again, I'm going to make butthole worms sound tame, all right? The first thing I'm going to do, let me tell you something. The first thing I'm going to do when I get reelected, all right, I'm going to make butthole worms seem irrelevant, all right? And free ramen noodles for everybody. And there will be no butthole worms. All right. Sorry, guys. Had to do something comedic to break up the bad news. So that's how I label this a comedy routine. You do like one comedic thing while then telling everybody the bad news. The AI can't figure out what the hell is going on. So they let me get away with this. Meanwhile, other channels try and do what I do, but without the funny business, and they get taken down so easily. Idiots, I tell you. All right, on to the next video. Oh shit, Retro Bill coming in with a huge donation. Says, great to see you in good spirits, Jake. Remember a year ago, Jaron predicted this show wouldn't last 6 months. Oopsie. Yeah, it seems Jaron's on a downward trend, and this channel's on an upward trend. But, you know, he's a government-controlled shitbag and an actor and an absolute scoundrel and a scammer. So, sucks, man, that he made that deal with the devil, and he has to lay in that bed. I never made such a deal, so I don't have to lay in that bed, and I'm free to do and say what I want. So yeah, he was dead wrong. It's funny how a guy with, 3 times less subscribers gets more views than him. He has 157,000 subs and he can only get like a few thousand views anymore. Pretty pathetic. Funny. A guy like me can get way more views than he can. Maybe some of those subscribers were bought and aren't real. But anyway, thanks, Retro Bill. I appreciate that. You are an awesome subscriber. I know you've been following for a long time and you've donated many times. It's very generous of you. I appreciate that. We run this whole damn channel off of, the truth, and the generosity from you guys as my audience is amazing. Second to none. I say this and I mean it. I have the best YouTube audience in all of YouTube. All right. Mass Marty says, you're a legend, Jake. What you really want to say is you're apostrophe RE. You are a legend, Jake. So let me go ahead and do a quick grammar rundown. You are, when you're saying you are, that's when you use the apostrophe RE. And we were talking about ownership, like your cup. This is your cup. Then it's your. So ownership is your, like the one you use. But the one you want to use is when you're saying you are. You are an asshole. You are a legend. That's the one you use the apostrophe. Also, I'm seeing a lot of people saying loose when they mean to say lose. Lose has one O and loose has two O's. Loose is the opposite of tight, and lose only has one O. So everyone who says, Jake, did you see the Packers lose? And then I have to say, no, I saw them lose with only one O. So these are two easy grammar fixes. I want to fix it for everyone. Okay? You are is the your with the apostrophe. And then loose is a different word than lose. Lose has one O. Okay, that's it. End of grammar lesson. I don't want to chase everyone away with a big fucking grammar lesson. But I've been seeing that happen just consistently from people who are 30, 40 years old who should know better. All right, so let's continue with the bad news about the world. I hate to have to do this, but I got an even worse video to show you.
This project started because the government was interested in developing better ways for us to connect to the brain. So we have this massive amount of data coming in, massive amount of data trying to go out. And they've been thinking, how can we make it more efficient for us to communicate? Normally, when we think about tapping into people's brains, we're like, whoa, hold on a minute. Like, I don't want to have some kind of surgical implant or microchip or something like that. And it's really not a viable way forward if we're just talking about a healthy subject or a healthy person, a healthy soldier trying to control his or her drone better. And so, given this fact that we want to be able to communicate more quickly with our external device, we don't want to have surgery. Can we come up with a non-surgical way, an external device, a helmet, a hat, that would allow us to capture signals from the brain and stimulate the brain as though we were sitting in front of a monitor? And that's the big idea, this non-surgical neural interface. So it sounds a little wacky. Is this even possible? And so we began by simply looking at what are the physical processes we could use? What are the techniques that might give us the ability to communicate with the brain through the skull? So we started this in a very exploratory phase. And we looked at how we might, as though we were sitting in front of a monitor. And that's the big idea, this non-surgical neural interface. So it sounds a little wacky. Is this even possible? And so we began by simply looking at what are the physical processes we could use? What are the techniques that might give us the ability to communicate with the brain through the skull? So we started this in a very exploratory phase. And we looked at how we might be able to use magnetic fields and how we might be able to use light. Both of these things can penetrate the skull. And we wanted to understand if signals from the magnetic field and from light would allow us to record and stimulate the brain.
As the magnet turns on, the flies are stimulated. So we're working to stimulate their brain using nanoparticles that I've already injected into the flies.
So when people hear about programs that are designed to build a brain interface, particularly programs funded by the government, people naturally get concerned. And what I want to make clear is that the systems we're developing are really designed to help patients. You know, the long-term vision is that maybe these technologies could help people who are healthy individuals who might want to have a better way to control a drone or other autonomous vehicles. But most immediately, what we're thinking about are ways that we can help patients who are blind. For example, individuals who have lost the ability to see, what scientists have been able to show is that if I stimulate parts of the brain that are...
So guys, don't be concerned that the government is developing this technology and is really, really concerned about getting this technology out there. It's because they want to help you. The government wants to help you. And this gay guy right here on screen assures us that that's the case, which makes me feel a lot better. There's a gay dude on screen right there, and he says that the government wants to help blind people. So therefore, all of my concerns are alleviated. No dubious, scandalous, diabolical, evil things happening here, everyone, because that guy says so. Everything's good to go. Because that guy told us that it's to help blind people. Don't you want to help blind people? Well, nanobots are the only way. And again, they would never use this to, like, I don't know, put it in individuals who don't want it and then track them and monitor them, read their thoughts. No, it's to help blind people, silly. Don't be a silly goose. Don't you love learning about awesome technology and all the ways the government loves you and wants to help you? You know, the same way they wanted to help you with this thing. Hey, line up for one of these. We'll give you a free donut. We're going to help you. I want to help you. There you go. Bet you're feeling better already. And again, this is a comedy routine. Whatever truth that you take from this is all up to you.
Healthy individuals who might want to have a better way to control a drone or other autonomous vehicles. But most immediately, what we're thinking about are ways that we can help patients who are blind. For example, individuals who have lost the ability to see, what scientists have been able to show is that if I stimulate parts of the brain that are associated with vision, those patients can get a sense of vision even though their eyes no longer work. And so the technology that we're developing now are technologies to stimulate the brain in specific ways. And specifically, we're stimulating the parts of the sensory system so that you can recover a little bit of your sense of vision. And playing that forward to what this might mean for people in the private sector, people in the military, this would be an alternative to your display. And so the idea is that we would have some kind of a helmet that would be able to stimulate your brain in such a way that you would be able to see as though you had a display in front of you, a heads-up display, so to speak, that would be activating the parts of your brain associated with vision. One of the things that has helped us be successful with this program is that Rice has invested a lot of resources in creating a world-class neuroengineering program. So the neuroengineering initiative has allowed us to build out new lab spaces where we can bring the people on the team together into one physical location. And students and postdocs can move between the labs. They can develop technology in one space and move next door to another lab where they can test it. And all of these facilities and the excellent people that have come in to join the initiative is really the reason why we've been able to be successful.
All right, a lot of times you'll see colleges being listed afterwards. As a college is an institution of indoctrination. So I saw another neural dust video presented by University of Berkeley, for instance. All right, so what do you guys think of this evil stuff that I done showed you? Do you think that they're really just trying to help, right? They want to help you. Oh, you're blind? Let us put some little computers inside you and help you see, right? No little computers to be used for anything evil, right? No way that they're making them real small and putting those into unsuspecting victims like me, the funny guy on YouTube who says the stuff that they don't like when I say the stuff. Could they possibly be putting it in my food or my water? No. They're trying to help blind people, of course. Yes, you saw the people working on it were muzzled, you know, like Asians. You can totally trust a muzzled Asian because they went to an indoctrination center, a college, for an even longer amount of time. Asians are the most compliant. I hate to say it. I know it sounds racist or whatever, but they're like the most compliant people. And it seems that China owns the USA. And it seems that they're doing everything possible to get rid of Americans without them really figuring it out fast enough. So eventually one day, if they keep this up and they keep getting better at it, they'll have gotten this material into everyone and gotten rid of most of us. So when the time comes for them to take this land, there won't be anybody left to put up a fight. This is a funny comment. Mad Max says, them Asians make a good diarrhea soup. But a bing. JT says, I haven't laughed this hard at this comedy since my last accident. Well, you know how it goes when you watch me, man. I am the most hard-hitting, truthful, funniest entity that ever existed. So you can pretty much expect that. Faith says one of the best shows on the net. Exactly. My sentiments exactly. I'm biased because I'm me, but then I also watch other shit that's out there and I'm totally better. So my bias is confirmed. All right. Universal says, okay, Jake, blow my mind one more time. All right, y'all. So they showed you this little computer thingy, right? That you can get inside your body and it can monitor your heart, your organs, your thoughts, track you, all that good stuff, right? And we learned that it can be real small, maybe get into our food, water. Maybe we all have this inside of us. Now here's where the heebie-jeebies really pick up. And you're going to wish I never told you this. So imagine instead of a computer chip that we saw, something that looks more like a corkscrew, right? Maybe I have one. I do. I have one. All right. So imagine something that's microscopic that looks like that. And imagine, just use your imagination, that a frequency can make it turn like this. Imagine it. Just use your imagination. Did something really, really small, shaped just like that, could get inside you. You know, like a company that sells rice, it'll say ingredients, rice, and then iron. Huh. You ever look at the back of your white rice and then look at the back of your brown rice? I looked at the back of white rice the other day and it said rice and iron. And then the other bag of rice, the brown one, it just said brown rice. It didn't say iron. So who's to say? Maybe they aren't putting little things like this in there. Little weeny, teeny, microscopic little fucking corkscrews. And who's to say that they don't have frequencies that can maybe drive these little sons of bitches all through you? Now you're going to be thinking, and I'm sorry, but it's the truth, that maybe you might have one or two of these little guys inside you, or 1,000, puncturing little teeny holes and going into little places in your body. You better hope that doesn't exist. You better hope it's just something crazy that a crazy guy made up. You better hope no one evil who has money ever fucking thinks to invent that. Oh shit. They already have.
It's tough to deliver medication quickly and precisely to different parts of the eye. Traditionally, medicine for conditions like glaucoma or diabetic macular edema is injected into the eye or dropped onto the surface and left to diffuse slowly throughout. This delivery method isn't always accurate and means the entire eye receives the drug. The process can be slow, irritating, and painful for the patient. researchers wanted to build tiny delivery vehicles they could drive to deliver cargo quickly to specific parts of the eye, particularly through the dense jelly called the vitreous humor. So they used nanoscale 3D printing to create small, spiral-shaped delivery bots. The bots were nearly 200 times smaller than the diameter of a human.
That sounds remarkably like what I just talked about. Yeah, they did invent that thing that I just told you about, the corkscrew. Remember just a second ago when I told you about the corkscrew and how they did? Yeah, it's a thing. But it's only to help you. They want to deliver medicine to your eyeball, bro. Right? Hey, you ever hear of like people going blind all of a sudden? Your pet goes blind all of a sudden? I don't know. Maybe this stuff is not meant to help deliver medicine to your eyes or your body. And remember how I said if somebody evil was to invent this, that would suck? Like I said, oops, it's already there. It exists. But nobody evil would ever use that for anything evil, now would they? No.
Hair. Their tiny size and a non-stick coating made it easier for them to pass through the tight matrix of the vitreous humor. The spiral bots also contained magnetic material, which meant the researchers could drive them forward, backward, left, or right with a magnetic field. The scientists injected a solution containing around 10,000 of the spiral bots into eyes collected from pigs and put the eyes in a magnetic field. They used imaging techniques in dissection to see if the bots had been able to pass through the eyeball's jelly all the way to the back where the light-sensing retina lives. The bots were able to deliver their cargo to the right place in much less time than simple diffusion would allow. Next, the researchers are planning to test the spiral bots in a living animal's eye. It will be years before any humans have tiny spiral robots delivering drugs to the back of their eyes. But the work is a step forward in building controllable vehicles to aim medicine at precise targets in sensitive areas.
Okay, if that doesn't bother you just a little bit, if that doesn't make you feel just a little bit funny, well, then I don't know what does. Because that sort of shit right there makes me think, oh man, we are so unbelievably screwed as humans. We are done. Humans are canceled. We're screwed. This is what I have to look forward to, my eyeballs being corkscrewed. Literally screwed. Literally. So when I was talking about the microscopic corkscrews, now suddenly it takes on a whole new perspective now that I showed you that video, huh? JT is going to have to rely on clones to repopulate. You know what? You'll have to get permission, right? And you'll have to pay extra if you want a kid with good genetics, because everyone will be sterile. Like in the future, hardly any men will be sterile, hardly any women will be sterile, or will be fertile. Excuse me. Hardly anyone will be fertile. Everyone will be sterile in the future, right? So then they can trick you into like having a genetically modified baby. And if you pay extra money, then you can have one with smart genes. But if you want the bare minimum, then you're going to end up with like basically an autistic pet to take care of. Right? Evil, pure evil out of a movie. But the movies are controlled by and made by the evil people. So of course, this is something that would happen in a movie as preparation for what will really happen in the future. One reason why I don't like to watch movies. A, because they're garbage, and B, because they're made by evil people. Oh, And also, I missed Toothpaste's last super chat. Let me go back and get that real quick. OJ and Toothpaste says, hey, Jake, hope you're doing great, bud. Sorry about Rusty. I feel it, brother. Take care. By the way, what do you think of Karen B, Ceiling Fan, and Crow 77? I've never heard of Ceiling Fan, man. Karen B is a shill who's tied in with all the other shill circle map flat earther crew. The flat earther crew that ties back to Jaron and Dave Weiss, the circle map, the circle app, conferences, 100% shills. Every damn last one of them. It's a cult made to intercept people who figure out that Earth isn't a spinning ball. They are there to intercept you. Karen B and Jaron are like two peas in a pod. All the shills flock together. The shills of a feather flock together, right? So basically, it's easy to like connect one to the next, to the next, to the next. So it's like people will say, Jake, what do you think about Owen Benjamin? Well, did he do Jaron's online fucking bullshit thing? Yes. Well, then chill. Does he tie back to Kanye saying his name on TV while sitting next to Alex Jones? Chill. That's how quick I make that decision. I'm always right. Shills of a feather flock together, and all those people. You should know. I shouldn't have to tell you, OJ Toothpaste. Kind of surprised you're even asking about Karen. Evil witch bitch. You can see it in her eyes. Evil, nasty witch bitch. But some people need to be told by Jake himself. They can't figure it out. All right. So we got the tiny robots that swim through your body. Knock that one out. All right. So what are the chances that that's all just fantasy and nobody evil ever made anything like that? And everybody's fresh and clean and everything's good and Jake's just wrong about all of it. What are the chances that I'm wrong about everything that I just told you? Well, there's some people who run some channels that would like to say that, and they might even say it. But you know what I just showed you is the truth, whether you like it or not. And you know you don't like it, but you know I'm telling you the truth. I have nothing to gain by showing you what I showed you, other than that's what I think's happening. And I think if that shit made its way in me, I don't even feel right. I feel a little different than I used to. I can't even quite explain it. So I'm sure the people that took the jib jab, they feel really weird and different, but they won't admit it. Somebody bringing up the football stuff that says this Cowboys-Titans game is, all the games are rigged. Every game is rigged. Some don't look as rigged as others, but every single game is fixed. There is no real football games. Everyone is fixed. There's always money on the line, especially if the Cowboys are playing. I haven't even looked at it. I stayed off this one because the spread changed a lot, and they just announced that they weren't going to start the quarter. They're going to like a third string quarterback, the Titans. So I stayed off the game because the spread changed rapidly, and I just wasn't feeling it tonight. So I just figured I would just wait till Saturday, Sunday, and make my picks then when all the monies come in. But yeah, this Thursday game I stayed off. So I don't even know who's winning or what's going on. All right. I got one more video. And see, this next one is funny because it's like damage control. So there's more and more people looking into this smart dust, neural dust. And so I found some like a damage control video, and it's kind of funny. But it also has some information that I think is useful and a few pictures that you should see. True Earth and More says, Jake, what are your thoughts on this being a reincarnation soul trap? Could be true. perhaps when you die, you are given the chance to do this over again, and people get duped and tricked to repeat this. And so I'm hoping that in my afterlife, during my final DMT experience, that I can overcome that obstacle and move and ascend on to the next realm and not have to repeat this hellacious hellhole over again. I'm hoping that I have learned enough, and I'm smart enough, and that I am open-minded enough that during my crossover to the other side, I am able to bypass this trap. I don't know if that makes sense to those of you out there who've never had a DMT experience, but I believe that when I go, I will be able to bypass that trap and get to the next level, whatever it is. Maybe just become an afterlife deity in DMT land. I don't know, but I definitely don't want to repeat this shit again. Yeah, maybe you don't go into the light. Maybe you go into the darkness instead. All right. So one more video. This one's kind of funny. This is the controlled opposition damage control video for smart dust. It even has fact check in the title.
A popular social media post claims that Hitachi has made a new chip called Smart Dust that, if consumed, can track a person with its GPS capabilities. An internet search about Hitachi product Smart Dust led us to a 2007 news article about a similar chip. According to the article, Hitachi displayed an RFID chip that measures 0.002 inches by 0.002 inches, which looks like bits of powder or specks of dust. However, there was no mention of these having GPS capabilities or of these being able to functionally be injected or absorbed into the human body. Hitachi disclosed this information about this RFID chip in a February 2006 news release. Hitachi earlier developed a tiny new RFID with an embedded antenna microchip and unveiled it in a news release in 2003. According to Hitachi, these chips can be used in securities, identification, preventing counterfeiting, and tracing ingredients for safety in agricultural products. There was no mention in any of these news releases that these have GPS capabilities. We have not yet seen any official mention of the Smart Dust chip having GPS capabilities or being able to work after being ingested.
There is no information that suggests that this new technology is ingestible to the human body. There is no information that it be used to track you. That is simply out of the realm of possibility because I am an Indian lady, so everybody knows that I am incapable of telling you anything other than the truth. There is no information that this could be used in the tracking back. Oh, thank you, Indian lady! Now I know! I was worried they might be tracking me, but an Indian lady assures me that that is not the case. So we're good to go. You guys, no need to worry. If you were feeling heebie-jeebies earlier, let the weight come off your shoulders. Indian lady ensures us that this technology will not be used for anything bad, okay? There is no information that this technology can be. Oh, well, thank you. I feel so much better, lady.
RFIDs need to be brought near special reading devices that beam energy to the chips, which then send information back to the readers. Some Smart Dust-like tiny chips could be implanted into the body for different uses, but these are mostly for tracking body processes rather than complete GPS capabilities. According to the RFID journal, The chips unveiled by Hitachi are not a proper choice for injecting into a person, as it would not be possible to read the chip under a layer of skin, as there is no evidence to prove that Hitachi's 2006 smart dust are
All right, I'm gonna destroy this piece of shit in chat. Hey, listen here. I'm telling you the truth. And in my opinion, we are screwed. I don't have a solution to this problem. I'm one dude, and I do more than anyone in the world to expose evil shit. I put my own livelihood on the line. How many videos have you made, you piece of shit? Motherfucker, come on my channel and call me a shill for telling the truth because I don't have a solution for the world's most evil thing that ever existed? Go fuck yourself, bro. You will never, ever speak on my channel ever again, bro. You know why? Because I'm getting rid of you right now. You are gone, literally forever, blocked from my channel. Anyone who says, this guy's just being doom and gloom, he's not offering any positivity, he's not filling our assholes with rainbows. We don't do that. We tell the truth. As bad as it sounds, that's what's happening. Do I have a solution? No, I'm a dude. Just a regular dude who barely scrapes by doing what I'm doing. And I have to deal with people saying, you're a shill. Faceless, nameless fucking cowards who've never made a truth video in their life want to attack the greatest truther who ever lived while I do the thing that I do for you. Tell you what's happening. And I get attacked and called a shill because I don't have the solution for you. Sorry, I don't. I don't think anyone does. I don't think any of us can fix this. Never in a million years could any of us here fix what is happening. Sorry, that's the truth. And again, if I spot you, and I don't always spot shills because I'm too busy running my stream, but if I spot you, I will call you out, destroy you, and then you won't ever make a comment here unless you come in with another channel, which I know you will because you're pieces of shit. Anyone who trolls or says anything bad about Jake the asshole is a piece of shit who deserves to be wiped off the earth. Yes, I said that. All right. The Indian lady's trying to act like this stuff is not going to be used for anything evil. And so this is definitely like a damage control video for anyone looking into it so that they can feel better. Rest assured that nothing bad is happening. Francois, I think that's how it's pronounced. Francois Gendron says, "Oh, I was here to be ass filled with rainbows." Sad face. That's a funny comment. I'm a sucker for funny comments, and that one's funny. He wants his ass filled with rainbows. Good one. Jake, can we get an RFB, please? All right. Hold on.
Hey, YouTube, what's going on? Richie from Boston here. Now, I've been driving all over the country because whenever I go home, I get attacked by the Wi-Fi, all right? And I know that I got a lot of little nano corkscrews coursing around in my heart. And so that's the reason why I drive around the country, is so that I can avoid the frequencies that are causing all these corkscrews that are going to eventually give me a heart attack, all right? I've been trying to eat better, all right? I've been trying to do the right things, all right? But these little nano corkscrews are finding their way into my body, and I don't know how much longer I have. So you need to like, share, subscribe, or don't. This is Richie from Boston, and I digress. All right. The only way to get rid of the corkscrew nanobots, all right, is to get right with God. If you're not praying to God to uncork the screws that are in your heart, then you're not going to be around tomorrow, all right?
There you go. And that's usually good for some laughing emojis. And I do the world's best Richie from Boston impression. And I don't just say that, it's because it's true. It's been said that I do a better Richie from Boston than Richie himself. Yes, thank you. Thank you. All right. So we'll go ahead and finish up this video. It's almost done. Indian lady here. We'll see if she can convince us that everything's okay.
RFID chip has GPS capabilities or can be functional after being ingested by a human being, this post is misleading. When you come across a piece of news that seems too ridiculous to be true, don't leave things to doubt. By a human being, this post is misleading. When you come across a piece of news that seems too ridiculous to be true, don't leave things to doubt.
If you come across some information that is too unbelievable to be true, make sure to listen to an Indian lady who knows everything and who does the fact checking for you, okay? So make sure to subscribe to my channel, and if you ever hear anything that not sound correct, then you need to come to me and then let me tell you that. Thank you, lady. I'll never get duped ever again by conspiracy theorists online spreading misinformation. Thank you, Indian lady. Indian lady, everybody. All right. Faith thinks that's funny. Toothpaste thinks that's funny. Faith, are you talking about Awaken with JP? That guy's a shill channel as well. I know he's a comedian, but he's a shill comedian. Comedy is a controlled industry like music, like movies. Entertainment as a whole at the tippity top is always controlled. And so there's a lot of channels who come off like they're comedians. They maybe tell a little bit of truth, but they aren't actual truthers. They won't ever break down the real hard-hitting truth to you. And JP is one of those guys. I haven't like practiced his character, so if I was to like watch some of his videos and spend a day or two on it, I could probably nail him. I'm one of the best impressionists who ever lived, so if I was to watch him, and I haven't in like a year or more, I haven't seen any of his shit in a long time. One of the last times I watched him, he was like doing a hit piece on flat Earth and just making the whole subject of like looking into the Earth being something other than a spinning ball. He was making it out to be like just a big joke, and the way he did his video just seemed very shilly, very influenced by government. Yes, I hate to break it to you guys, but a lot of your favorite online personalities are controlled. So yeah, if they're really big and popular, usually they're doing it for the money, and they have corporate sponsorship and shit like that. Like I said, JP did a hit piece on the flat earth and tried to make it out like, oh, flat earth is the stupidest thing you could ever think of, and here's all my jokes why. And he never like made a video explaining why the earth being a spinning ball in outer space is actually ridiculous. You know, instead he made the notion where if you're thinking that the earth is anything other than a spinning ball, then you might sound like this. So he was doing a character to basically turn people off the idea of the earth being anything other than a spinning ball. And I find that highly shilly. Yeah, Rogan is 100% a shill personality. He used to actually say something. He used to actually be an edgy comedian, and then they got to him and turned him into a corporate TV, radio, podcast personality. And they had him like start bringing Neil deGrasse Tyson on. So he used to say the moon landing was a hoax, and then he brought Neil deGrasse Tyson on his show, kissed his ass, and then took back his stance that the moon landing was a hoax, and then said the moon landing was real and that he was just a dumbass. Sorry, that makes you instantly a shill forever and ever in my book. You will never crawl out from under that. He also said that if he was shown an alien, that if he could go to Area 51 and be shown an alien, that he would lie to his own mother. He's like, I'll lie to my mother. I'll lie to my mother right now. Show me an alien. So those two things alone are enough for me to put Joe Rogan in the absolute shillbag, shitbag category for life. And that also includes his buddy Eddie. Eddie, you're so crazy. Bro, Joe, let me tell you, it's Illuminati. Bro, the earth is flat. It's the Illuminati, bro. Bro. Yeah, Eddie Bravo, shitbag, shillbag, tied back to Joe. You know how I know? Oh, he also did the Jaren's live stream. So Eddie Bravo has done a live stream with David Weiss and Jaren. So anytime these shills get together, I can go, oh, there you are, together, shills of a feather flocking together, which is what I say. And then when they prove it, just adds further proof that it's a network of shills who all look out for each other and promote each other. Even when they act like they're against each other, they're promoting each other. When was the last time any of those dudes said, hey, check out Jake the Asshole's latest video? Never. Like if, I don't know, Kanye was to go on TV and then say my name, I would shit my pants. But he won't do that. You know why? Because I'm for real. So instead, he'll bring up Owen Benjamin, being a guy who Dave Chappelle steals his jokes from. But he won't mention Dave Chappelle being a fucking imposter, like me, who says Dave Chappelle is not even around anymore, and whoever's playing the part of Dave Chappelle isn't Dave Chappelle. That's what I say, a guy telling the truth. Kanye won't say that Dave Chappelle's been replaced by an imposter. No, he'll tell you that he steals Owen Benjamin's jokes. Oh, Kanye says Owen Benjamin's name. When was the last time any of them ever pointed out Jake the Asshole? Never, and they never will, because I'm not part of that crew. See how that works? Instead, they have channels like Simon Dan try and discredit me. Fight the Fat Ass try and discredit me, right? Yes, Flat Earth Banjo is also a shill. He posts TikTok cringe Flat Earth content. He's a loser and a piece of shit. Everyone who supports the cult, the circle map with the circle sun, and they say the same shit that they've been saying for since 2015, they're morons or they're shills. Every last one of them. And I've proven it. Jonna coming in with an awesome donation says, another great and informative stream, Jake. We love your comedy. It felt good to get this one out there because I've been looking into this and I've been wanting to drop this knowledge for a while. And I'll even make a shorter version video so that more people see it. But yeah, I've been wanting to talk about this, and this is just like step one. We can go even further into more detail about the subject. So there's more videos, more evil, sinister shit. This is just getting people step one intro into understanding that there's some minute small shit floating around out there contaminating our food and water and our own bodies, and the jib jab is not needed. Thank you very much, Jonna. You are one of the biggest supporters of the channel, and I appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. All the donations coming in today, you guys help keep this channel and me as a person afloat. I don't have a Patreon. I don't beg. I don't scam people. I don't have any corporate sponsors. Literally, like, the ad revenue and these donations is like all that I get out of this, and the satisfaction of knowing that I'm telling the truth and helping people. And so it's a rough job, but I signed up for this, and I appreciate that I have an audience out there like you guys, people like Jonna. So sweet. Thank you to all of you guys who've been here tonight and participating in the chat. Even if I don't read your comment, there's so many comments. Even if I don't read it now, I always go back and reread every comment. I rewatch my own stream. I watch and see who's commenting and who says what. So while I'm live, I miss a lot of comments, but I always go back and read every single one. All right. So let me show you guys another thing I've been seeing on the back of ingredients lately. Different food ingredients. I'm noticing this. Here, let me blow it up for you. It says contains bioengineered food ingredients. So you might see this on the back of something you buy at a supermarket. It's definitely usually the cheaper brands that you'll see this. It'll say contains bioengineered food ingredients. Means at least one ingredient in the food, the soy protein in a plant-based burger, for instance, contains DNA from a new gene. DNA from a new gene? That's highly suspicious vernacular, right? The wording there is a bit concerning. So when I see words like this, food that contains genetic material that has been modified through certain laboratory techniques and for which the modification could not be obtained through conventional breeding or found in nature. Just a little bit concerning, guys. They can say that and get away with a lot. So this is like the legalese. Contains bioengineered ingredients. It's the legalese for, like, this is something out of this world that is totally poisonous and bad for you and is going to track you and kill you. And we're just going to call it a bioengineered food ingredient. And if you're dumb enough to consume it, sucks to be you. So you might want to look out for something that says bioengineered food ingredient. But like I said, if you ever go out to eat at fast food or a restaurant, who the hell knows what they have slipped you? Who the hell knows what we have all ingested? Mass, bro, you should know better. Going to a doctor for a checkup is like going to a crooked mechanic with a perfectly running car. They'll find something wrong with you. Going to a doctor for a checkup is a good way to get them to tell you you have the beginning. You have pre-diabetes, you got pre-AIDS, pre-boogeyman disease, whatever. They'll find something wrong with you, like a crooked mechanic will find something wrong with your car. You know, you take a perfectly good running car to a crooked mechanic. Well, your defibrillator needs re-energizing. It's going to be like $300. So I highly recommend you stay away from all doctors, basically. I haven't had insurance in years. I don't even have insurance. God, I can't even remember the last time I had insurance. It's probably been 5-6 years. OJ Toothpaste says vegan warrior is a piece of shit. Dude, nobody talks about that guy anymore. You bringing him up is like the only person I've heard bring him up in like 5 or 6 years or something. That guy is beyond irrelevant. I'm surprised that I even just saw his name. That's somebody who's literally like a big, angry, black vegan guy who loves crypto. I mean, come on. Who wants to watch something like that? Like, if he was to see this, he'll be like, Jake, I'm whooping your ass. Next time I see you, I'm going to whoop your ass. I'm an angry black man. And if I see a white guy talk about me, I'm going to whoop your ass. He's one of those type of guys, one of those I'm going to whoop your ass, I'm mad, angry black man guy. Like, if you're like, dude, the vegan diet is for slaves, and you're a slave, he'll be like, what? Next time I see you, motherfucker, I'm whooping your ass. Whoop a motherfucker, whoop a whoop. He's one of those. Even people who don't know who I'm talking about think that's funny. He's irrelevant. He's a nobody. But he's one of those guys that, like, if he was to see this, that's what he would do. He would threaten to whoop my ass. Oh yeah, I heard about the Andrew Tate stuff. See, here's the thing. I never promoted that guy, and everybody who brought him up in my chat, I was always like, I don't really know much about that, but since everyone keeps bringing him up, I'm going to assume shill, controlled opposition. Sure enough, I was right. If the TV keeps telling you about a name, they're an actor on the world stage. If the TV keeps saying someone's name, they're an actor on the world stage. Simple, very simple. So people kept telling me, Jake, what's your thoughts on Andrew Tate? And I was like, I don't watch him. I don't keep up with him. Does he tell truth like me? Does he do live streams like this? Well, then fuck him. Anyone. If you ask me, Jake, what do you think of so-and-so? Do they do live streams like the one you watched tonight? Do they cover like really hard-hitting shit? Like corkscrews in your fucking eyeballs? Because if not, then screw them. Thanks, Dominic. I appreciate that. Oh, watch. This guy's going to stick up for him. Oh, he does? He talks about corkscrews in your eyeballs? Post the video. Tell me the fucking name of the video where he talked about anything like I talked about tonight. All I've ever heard about Andrew Tate is that he likes to make the red pill for men content, MGTOW content. Women are 304s content. That's all I've ever heard was he calls out women. Calling out women for being 304s in 2022 is old and tired. All I ever heard about Andrew Tate was that he made MGTOW shit. Never heard him break down a NASA video and space travel being fake. Funny how that works. But I bet you're also one of those guys who thinks Kanye's telling you the truth and he's on your side. All right, OJ Toothpaste with a donation says, what's your first reaction when someone told you put a mask on in a store when 2020 hoax? I got kicked out of a lot of places. And then I even had to kind of conform, and I got the plastic visor so that I was like kind of conforming, but not really, so I could still breathe. And I had a thing that was different than everyone else. Because there were certain times where I needed to go shopping. I needed to make money. And I needed to live my life. And literally everyone, every single low-level employee, minimum wage employees at the time, were being like, sir, you can't come in here. You know, like everyone was throwing me out of stores or making me leave. Not physically throwing me out, but confronting me to where there were times I had to get the plastic visor thing And even half the time I had the plastic visor, I would still get kicked out, even half the time. So yeah, it was bad. And anyone who said they didn't wear one ever, well, maybe you lived in a really Republican white area in some small town. But if you lived in an area like California, like where I live, it was impossible. Like you could not buy food for yourself or do anything really without fucking complying in some sort of way. So in order for me to go beat the casino's ass, I had to like wear a plastic fucking visor thing. That way I wasn't like wearing a mask like everyone else, and it wasn't stopping my breathing. But I had like a piece of plastic in front of my fucking face. And even then, there were casinos that fucking told me I couldn't do that. And at the time, I needed that revenue. I'm smart and I know how to beat casinos. During the pandemic, my job singing for old people vaporized, and I had to make some money. So, like everybody, you got to do what you got to do. But I got thrown out of places a lot. Whoa, here's a good one. Noel Alexis Shaw, Nas says, I once, or no, that wasn't the one I wanted to watch. Damn it. Read. Sorry, that wrong comment. Saw another comment of someone saying they got thrown into a cell. Oh, here it is. It's Kat. My bad. So Kat says, I refuse to put on a mask at the Canadian border. They put me in a cell and called in Homeland Security, and 2 agents interrogated me. Oh, it got bad. See, one of my videos on YouTube that went viral is when a bunch of maskless shoppers, like 10, 15 people, went to a grocery store and walked in without masks, and the place went berserk. So a lot of you guys might have seen that video. It's back in 2020. The video went to like 200,000 views or something. At the time, that was pretty viral. And so it was in Santa Cruz here in California. Like 10, 15 shoppers walked in together as a team without masks. And the people who worked there like lost their mind and started like trying to rip the produce out of their hand. Basically like borderline assaulting people. Imagine being, someone who makes minimum wage and you're going to assault a shopper and rip produce out of their hand because they're not wearing a muzzle. There were minimum wage workers who felt entitled to like touch you and shove you out of a store or like yell and scream at you. And then they were given a memo to not do that anymore. And then they all stopped. So literally the same people who were like, excuse me, sir, you can't come in here. Sir, you have to leave. Then they all got a memo one day, like an email, where their boss just told them, oh yeah, we're not doing that anymore. And then they all just stopped. And then they were like, hi, welcome to the store. It's like, oh, yesterday you tell me get out of here, and now you're saying welcome to the store? That's what fucking bothers me. And then a lot of these people even then went to take off their muzzle. Like, oh, we're not doing that anymore. We don't have to wear muzzles now because we're not being locked down and not told to. But if they do tell us to wear them, then we'll wear them. So it just goes to show you, like, all the people that were acting like they were so concerned and throwing a fit. A lot of them aren't even wearing them now. Yeah, I feel like it's a fake story. I think he's just a character being used on the world stage. So I don't think for a second he's a real truther who's being framed. I'm sure we're going to get that. He's a real truther and they're framing him. Bullshit. Bullshit. I look at guys like Andrew Tate, like I look at guys like Alex Jones or Kanye. Just another mouth on the world stage filling you with bullshit. There ain't no celeb who tells the truth and who cares. Even people who pretend to care and pretend to tell the truth, they still don't say what I say. Here's a for instance. Jim Brewer will tell you that the wearing the mask is stupid. And he'll act like he's on Team Truth. But he won't tell you that his old buddy Dave Chappelle has been replaced. So I've heard people say, Jim Brewer's a guy who's a celebrity and he tells the truth. No, he doesn't talk about his buddy Dave Chappelle being replaced. I've heard him say he doesn't hang out with Dave Chappelle, doesn't see him anymore. But he doesn't say his buddy Dave Chappelle has been replaced by a fucking imposter, like I say and have said for years. So until I see a celebrity say Dave Chappelle has been replaced by an imposter and say all the rest of the same things as me, then I'm not going to trust a goddamn single one of them. So a guy like Kanye might be like, oh, it's because of the juice. This or that because of the juice. But then he supports Trump. Drops Owen Benjamin's name. Sorry, not falling for it. Way too smart to fall for that shit. Agreed. Dave has been gone for a long time. There's a 4-hour comedy routine that he does where he's just like going off, like making stuff up for 4 hours, and it's the real Dave. His speech and his cadence of the way he says his words, his speech patterns, the imposter doesn't do it right.
The imposter Dave has like a scratchy voice. I don't get mad at a picture because it's not today.
Imposter Dave has this weird scratchy voice and he doesn't sound like old Dave. Old Dave has kind of a way when he would talk, he'd kind of going right from one word into the next word. Old Dave would like his speech would like kind of flow from one word into the next word, kind of like. And that reminds me of something. The other day when I was reading the script, and the script right hand, and new Dave is like,
I don't get mad at a picture because it's not today. I'm the new Dave.
It's like two different fucking voices, two different styles of speech. And so, to me, the first time I saw fake Dave, I was like, who is that? What the fuck is going on? How come no one else is pointing out that that's not Dave? I was one of the first people with a major channel to point that out and say, that's not Dave. Dude, he just got older and his head blew up and he stopped being funny and his voice changed and he got buff and he changed colors of blackness. Because older. No, not because older. You can go look at videos of me 10 years ago. Am I a little different? Sure. But it's the same guy. You go look at Dave 10 years ago, and then you look at Dave now. Not the same dude. Don't know how anyone falls for that. He just got older and did drugs. No, he didn't. He's gone. The new guy is not him. So I'm one of the only channels that tells the truth about that and has maintained that position. And that's why whenever I see a celebrity like Jim Brewer, for instance, who knew the real Dave, he won't fucking say anything about it. Seems like they got his balls in a jar. Either that or he's too chicken shit to say anything because he knows he might suffer the same fate. Yep, that Oprah interview. And then when he came back, he did like I said, he did this 4-hour comedy routine where he goes into a lot of different conspiracies, like Kennedy being shot and Lincoln being shot and stuff like that. He like made some of the connections and parallels between the two. And so he did like a 4-hour comedy stream. You can look it up. I forget the name of it, but it's 4 hours and it's all the real Dave. Just making up a comedy routine off the top of his head, basically. And it's totally as real Dave gets. And then it became this other guy.
Well, I made these comedy specials, and then I shelved them. And then they paid me $50 million for my comedy specials that I made secretly. So then I unshelved them.
That's new Dave. Yes, real Dave was funny, like me, So imagine some guy who kind of looks like me shows up, but he's not funny and can't play the bass. But he kind of looks like me. Kinda. I would hope that you guys would be like, who the fuck is this? Yeah, they replaced Paul McCartney as well, but see, I wasn't like an old school Beatles guy, so like that one isn't as near and dear to me as the Dave Chappelle thing. Oh, did I miss a super chat? My bad, Mass. I missed it. It says, can you slap bass for a little riff? Shit, I don't have any of it hooked up, bro. All my basses are fucking, none of them are hooked up or anything. I'll have to save that one for like the next stream or something, bro. I haven't even practiced or played in fucking like almost a month. I had the dog stuff that I was dealing with, and I've been doing NFL stuff, so I just have not practiced or played in weeks. I need to like plug it up and practice a bit, but maybe next stream. So yeah, for those of you who haven't been here before, I am a bass slapper and a funk player, and sometimes I play live music. Kat says, what the fuck is this? And what have you done with Jake? Yeah. Deshaun Field says, what's up with the hat? I've been wearing this for a long time. I was a local musician. So I grew up in Modesto, California, which is a small, not small town, but it's a shitty, medium-sized city. And I was playing local shows around there. And me and a friend, we would wear big funny hats, and we started a band called Z Strain. And even before that, I was wearing a funny hat. So what I can do is put on an old video. Since I'm not going to play live, I can put on an old video and show you how far back the hat goes and funny hats in general. So, okay, so if you type in solo bass Jake into the search bar, you'll find videos that are a decade or more old. So before I ever did anything truth-wise, before I was even awake to the truth, I was a local musician, and I would slap the bass and play funk music. So there's plenty of videos out there of me from long before I ever did this. And people who videotape me at local open mics have posted my videos. So a lot of these aren't even my channel or even posted by me. A lot of these videos were from other people who just filmed me at the open mic and different shows. So you can see videos like, here's one 11 years old, and I'm wearing a funny hat. This one right here, I'm wearing a funny my hat. So wearing funny hats was kind of my thing long before I ever did this. Before I ever did truth stuff. Okay, so here's a video I reposted from 2013. I'll put it on. Give you guys a little taste of my music.
I waking back up in the morning and I'm off to class. Gotta hit the highway, I was spending y'all. Hauling some ass stuck in the parking lot. Well, I can't find a spot. I'm working in the handicap and hope I don't get caught. Trying to get the last hit. Trying to get the last hit. Straight to Toya from overseas. I grow my own trees and feed the disease. I'm only using top-notch seeds. These dirty deeds be the business deeds. Take the last hit. Take the last hit. Take the last hit. Okay, now hit the last hit. I'm in funky green. I've been dropping down the funk right here at the Queen Bee. It's open market time, so I'ma drop this rhyme. We'll sell little basic traps and rhyme alike every time. What? Take the last hit. Take the last hit. Take the last hit. With non-verbal communication, I use symbolic logic, then I flip off the nation. I'm not in all these places up to this song, converting soapy bottles into soapy bombs. Give me the last hit. Give me the last hit. Give me the last hit. I'm slipping, sliding, running, dying for the right cause. You hear my voice and see my picture, there's a slight pause. That's the same guy, now it's your reply. I'm here to rock this motherfucking world until I die. Gotta get the last hit. Take the last hit. And I'm
All right. So there's one of my originals from that was from 2013. 10 years. 10 years ago. Thank you, Richard Benson. Appreciate that. And thanks, Matthew. Thank you, Just Me. NG Hart. In Silent Walk. In Treehouse. Jesus Montez says, new to the channel, longtime truther. Thanks. I appreciate it, buddy. Yeah, I've been putting out content for 7 years. There's all sorts of different truth on my channel. So there's plenty of videos for you to go back and rewatch. And as the season winds down, I'll be doing more stuff like this, you know, and covering all sorts of different subjects. So I think I missed a super chat earlier. Excuse me. Whew. Let me run back real quick. There it is. Jesus says, what do you think about the Tartarian history? It's interesting, but when it comes to stuff like that, I can't really personally prove any of it. And so I find it highly interesting. I think that what we're told about our history is a lie. But as far as like what actually happened, how long ago, mud floods, stuff like that, man, it's hard to know anything that happened before I was born. So basically anything that happened before I was born, it's like I take it with a grain of salt. So if anyone's like, well, 2,000 years ago, XYZ happened, 10,000 years ago, this, and this happened, 1,000,000 years ago, I'm always like, that could all be bullshit. So anything history related, I'm always like, I don't know about that. But I find that stuff interesting. People turning to stone, entities turning to stone, the buildings, you know, with the floors covered up by the mud floods and all that stuff. Interesting. I just don't know exactly what to make of it all. Just Me. Yeah, that's old stuff. I don't have a 911 vid because most of the good ones get scrubbed. But I've always said that I don't think that there were any planes hitting the tower. So I'm a no planes guy. I think the planes only exist on TV, and that they took down the towers with demolition, and the towers were built to be taken down. And so I'm more of the no floors, no planes guy as far as that's concerned. But I don't have a video on my channel about it because those ones are some of the quickest ones to get scrubbed and taken down. And there's already so many good videos that were already made about it that I didn't make one. But I have maintained that my stance is that when you see the video of a plane hitting the building, that is CGI. That didn't actually happen. So they take down the buildings, but no plane actually is necessary. Yeah, so that's my take on that one. Deshaun, yeah, I don't trust those either. Anything that we were shown on TV and stuff like that, just what I don't trust it. What about the Boston bombing? Definitely a psychological operation, and lots and lots of actors involved. So a big con job. right. David Anthony says, do you still promote flat Earth? I promote the Earth not being a spinning ball, but I don't promote any sort of flat Earth model because none of them add up. So basically, the globe model doesn't work, and then the flat Earth models that the shills use, those don't work either. And so what I have shown on my channel in my last stream about it that I did with Q and Fee, another channel who does modeling. So he can do modeling in 3D space. And the two of us got together and we showed why all the maps fail and why this place that we live in doesn't make sense. That what's happening with the stars and the sun and the moon does not make sense on any of the presented models. So therefore, I'm left knowing that the Earth is not a spinning ball, but I don't know what it is, and I can't make sense of it. And one of the smartest guys I know, who's also looked into this, he can't make complete sense of it, Q and Fee, but he can show why shit doesn't add up. So I've shown with me and Q and Fee teaming up on live streams that the shit doesn't add up, but we can't make sense of it. We can't tell you what the hell this place is. So I've never been able to, as just a dude, figure out what this place is and how it all works. But what I have been able to figure out is that it doesn't make sense with the data that we're given. Richard Benson says, I agree. It's like we're fish trying to figure out what's going on outside the tank, but it's beyond our comprehension. Precisely. I don't think even at this point that it's just evil humans in control. Some of these, devices and these evil technologies being used against us, like some of the stuff I showed you tonight, it's just so evil that it almost can't be created by just a regular person or thought of by a regular person. We are up against some form of evil that may not even be human. And so we have to consider that there's some other form of life that could be in control here, or even computers in control here. And they are canceling us humans, or in the process of getting rid of us humans. So humans seem to be on the way out, being in the process of being canceled. And what is at the tippity top of the pyramid doesn't seem to be human. Seems to be something far more advanced. Yeah, Just Me says the moon landings were fake ass bullshit. Now that I have several videos on. So space being fake and the moon landings being fake, I have several videos. If you scroll back to when my channel was first putting out content, that was like one of my main subjects. And so I even have full-on music videos about the moon landings being fake. The pizza deal, I think, is a bit of a cover-up for what's really going on. So there's all sorts of trafficking, human trafficking, child trafficking going on in all sorts of different ways. Other countries, the United States. So there's so many different ways that it's going on. So they have to kind of admit it in certain ways, but then throw you off the path, so it's kind of like, God, if I can equate it to something, it's kind of like when the NFL said the Patriots were cheating by deflating balls, but they won't tell you that the games are fake. So it's like they kind of admit to something. So I think the Pizzagate thing is like a somewhat admission of what's going on while throwing you off the trail. Kind of like the Patriots were deflating balls. They aren't telling you that Tom Brady's literally like a fake ass bitch who's not good and that they're letting him win. No, it's like he cheated by using deflated ball. So that's like a comparison I can make there, where it's like they give you like a piece of the truth. Is there cheating going on? Yeah, but not with just deflating balls. Just like, is there trafficking going on? Yeah, but not just with Pizzagate. It's way worse and way more advanced than that. Treehouse asking about Sandy. Well, you already know if you've been watching me that I call out like all those shootings as being fake and phony. So anytime there's a mass bang bang and pow pow, I'm one of the first people who's going to point out the actors and them smiling and how the whole thing usually doesn't add up or make sense. So basically, if you tell me that a mass amount of people got popped, I'm going to tell you that that was bullshit until proven otherwise. I do what's called auto hoaxing, and I immediately auto assume that it's a hoax until proven otherwise. And I'm yet to be proven otherwise. Ever. So every time I've ever been like, yep, I'm going to assume hoax, I was always right. And then when I look into it and I see actors are smiling with duper's delight, my mom was shot. I'm so sad. My teacher got shot in front of me. Sorry, not buying it. So this channel has definitely covered many of those, but we do it in a funny way. We do it in a comedic way to where, like I said, this is all a big comedy routine, and I label it as comedy. So I'm able to get away with this more so than other people. Yes, a whole lot of inconsistencies with the Sandy deal. That's just one of the things wrong. The parents suing Alex Jones for $1 billion. I did like 3 different videos on it. Alex Jones is controlled opposition. He was not sued for $1 billion. He's never going to pay those people $1 billion. Those people are fakers, and Alex Jones a faker, and the whole thing was fake. So I'm one of those people who calls out the entire psyop and not just one little piece. So instead of just saying Sandy's a hoax, I'll be like, yeah, that's a hoax. And the parents getting $1 billion from AJ, even bigger hoax, even stupider. Yes, Shelley, dinosaurs are for kids and stupid adults. Yes, I don't believe for a second that prehistoric creatures like a T-Rex with its little like baby arms. So stupid. These creatures don't make any sense. Like a Stegosaurus has like a spiky tail and bony plates. It's like, how is a Stegosaurus going to mate with another Stegosaurus with all those bony plates and spikes and shit? It just doesn't make any sense that you can even have 2 Stegosauruses mate, let alone a T-Rex that has this like weird off-center like balance, these little tiny arms. It's like little weeny teeny arms, right? But it's like supposed to be the most meanest badass dinosaur of them all. So stupid. Yeah, it's basically like a tourist trap at a museum. They have a bunch of bones from creatures that never existed because the bones are made of plaster and they're fake. They can take one bone that they maybe found for real and then just construct an entire skeleton around it. So maybe, perhaps, many years ago, there were large animals. And so perhaps you can find a bone that's big, but that doesn't mean it's a dinosaur bone. So let's just say many years ago, maybe elephants were bigger than they are now, and you can have a big-ass elephant bone, or take a big-ass giraffe bone and then convince people that it's a dino bone, right? So I'm very skeptical of any sort of prehistoric creature like dinosaurs. I think it's more likely that they just had some really big animals at some points. And so they can probably come up with some bones that are actual big bones, but they can't come up with a full skeleton of a dinosaur. That's where the imagination comes into play. So I've literally, in the last like few minutes, just reading comments and saying what I've been saying, I've dropped more truth bombs than any channels usually do in their entire existence. Right? So this is what we do here and have been doing for years. Misanthropic, I can only imagine. See, I never met the right person, and my life is very strange and set up in a way to where I don't have, you know, a conventional family, so I can only imagine trying to raise, you know, kids in this environment. Like, how are you supposed to like keep them from not only the dangers and the evil, but explain to them the truth? Like, at what age is it appropriate to tell your kid these evil truths? Like, I can only imagine. So I don't have any kids. I don't have to do that. But if I think about it, wow, that sounds hard as fuck. To have like a 4-year-old and try and explain something heavy, like the truth, without lying to them or deceiving them. Most parents will be like, Santa Claus is going to bring you presents if you're a good boy. Santa's going to bring you a toy if you're a good boy. That's how terrible most parents are. They'll lie to their kid about Santa. So I can only imagine how hard it would be to have to like explain to your kid everything that they see on TV, all the cartoons, everything that they want to watch is evil and bad. And no, they're not allowed to watch it. Never a straight answer says, I told my oldest about the Earth on his 11th birthday. Haven't told the younger ones yet. And the sad thing is, you know, if they start repeating that at school, they'll get bullied. Their teacher will bully them in front of a class. If a kid was to tell his teacher in front of the class that we don't live on a spinning ball, just say the words, we don't live on a spinning ball, I'll bet you the teacher would try and make that kid look like a fool in front of the class, and the class would laugh and make fun of that kid, berate that kid, bully that kid. So really, if you teach your kid the truth and then, you know, they go and repeat what you tell them, that's only going to be bad. So public schools are basically not only indoctrination centers, but they're also a place where your kid is more likely to get bullied, picked on, singled out if they repeat anything that you teach them. You know? When we went to school, there were certain teachers who would hurt the children in any ways they could. Right? Because they're trying to make you into another brick in the wall. So if your kid is even enrolled in public school, man, you are in an uphill battle. And every day they are going to be taught wrong, shitty information. And then you, as the parent, have to unteach them that. And then if you don't put your kid in public school, you have to somehow tell the government that you're teaching them the curriculum and do homeschooling and shit. You have to lie and be like, yeah, I'm totally teaching my kid Earth is a ball. Sure. If you look at the way they set the whole thing up, it's obvious, and I'm going to repeat the title here for dramatic emphasis. Your life is rigged. The game of life is rigged, folks. And it has been since we young ones, before we even came out of the womb. Our life is rigged. You were set up to fail. If you look at the failure rate of human beings, there's a reason why the homeless epidemic is out of control. Holy shit. If you live in a big city, you probably notice there's more homeless people now than ever. The gap between the poor and the rich is getting exponentially wider by the day. More and more people by the day are being pushed out on the streets and hitting Skid Row. Here in the city where I live in a Sacramento area, the new capital of the homeless world. In the entire world, Sacramento is basically like the new homeless capital. More than LA, more than Skid Row, LA, Sacramento area has the most homeless people now. So my thing is I'm seeing all this happening and it seems totally by design. And how are we supposed to fix this problem? And in fact, let me even like find a little, I might even just look up a little video just to show you guys like what's going on. Just in case any of you have never seen it before. All right. So here's a channel I watch sometimes. This guy travels around the country and just shows what life is like in basically every city, every state. So he's a mainstream YouTube channel, but he actually does good work just presenting what America has become. So a channel called Nick Johnson, very basic, Nick Johnson. He drives around and records what it looks like in all the major cities and what it is like to live in every state in America. So he did a video on Sacramento, and holy shit biscuits. I'm about to show you now.
We're in Sacramento, the new heartbeat of the homeless crisis in California. It was early morning and nobody was around. I showed this clip before because it's so crazy to see a place like this so empty. Pretty sure everyone was asleep. Maybe it had been a long night. In the last video, I showed you this camp because it's a way to really see how bad the homeless problem's getting in the state's capital. But in the last video, I didn't talk about the big picture. That camp is just a fraction of what I saw the day I drove around this place. Everywhere you turn in Sacramento, you're confronted with this mess. And boy, is it a mess.
This is what America's becoming, y'all. Every major city, I'm seeing these tents pop up along the freeways. Certain areas are becoming tent cities. Tent cities are starting to take over. In the 80s and 90s, there were some homeless people. But now, y'all, these areas are growing by the day. And it is to the point where you can't help these people. It's to the point where, like, if you were to, like, take some food and give it to these people right here, it would be like handing an ant a crumb. So imagine an anthill with 1 million ants, and you hand one ant a crumb. What are you doing? Are you even helping? So if you try and help even one or two or any of the, even a whole row of these people, there's so many in every city, and the problem just keeps getting worse. And then even when you try and help, it actually creates more problems. So what's happening now is they're trying to make little homes for these people. So they'll say, oh, we're going to like build little tiny homes for these people and get them off the streets. All that does is give them a place to do drugs. So if you were to give these people right here a tiny home, like a place as big as my office, you just gave them a place to shoot heroin and do fentanyl. That's all you did. The chance that they're going to turn their life around, get their shit together and go get a good job is like a fraction of a percentage. So we're at a point where you could give these people literally like $10,000 in a place with a roof over their head, and all they're going to do is do drugs and continue being a drain on society. The amount of people who, if you gave 10 grand and a place to live and stay, that are going to turn it around, a fraction of a percentage. This is what we're up against, guys. We are so screwed. A person got mad at me for not offering solutions. There isn't. If you help these people, they will expect you to help them. If you give these people, I'm showing you right now, any food or supplies, they're just going to be like, thanks. Bring me some more next week, and the week after, and the week. Just keep giving me shit. They expect it. They become lazy. So you can give a homeless person a home and money. You won't change their attitude. They will still just do drugs and be the same person that they were before, just with a roof over their head now. And now you let them have other friends to come over and do drugs with them. And as bad as I hate to tell you that, because that makes me sound like I'm just picking on homeless people, here's the same thing I keep hearing. Jake, it's not their fault. A lot of them have mental issues. Bullshit. They got mental issues because they fucking did drugs until they ended up on the street. And they ran the street and did fentanyl all night long, which made them mentally ill. And now, yes, after years of drug abuse, they're fucking mentally ill, of course. That's how you become mentally ill. I'll bet you a lot of these people had good parents who actually put them through a decent life. Not all of them. I'll bet you a lot of these people had a decent life. Not the worst. Maybe they didn't come from the best conditions, but I'll bet you a lot of these people had parents who gave it a shot. But still they end up here. So I don't like to say all these people ended up here out of bad luck. I don't like to say they ended up here because they're mentally ill. 9 times out of 10, 99% of the time, I'll betcha it's because they put themselves in this position. In San Francisco, they will give you drug paraphernalia. In San Francisco, they will give you clean needles so that if you shoot up, that there's less chance you'll die. They call it like a wellness center, a death prevention drug center. Oh, if you go to the death prevention drug center, you can get clean needles to shoot up with because they love you so much. Now they're providing you with a way to die. They want you to shoot up and die. That's why they're giving you the needles. If you think I'm lying or making that up, look it up. San Francisco has centers that gives away needles, rubber bands to tie off your arm, all sorts of shit, razors to cut up drugs, all sorts of shit. It will blow your mind.
You know, like I said once before, when Kevin Johnson was mayor, I asked him, I said, "Why don't you come out here and look like we are?"
Normal now. The man we met earlier is the manager of a tiny camp on private property, just a few blocks from downtown. They call it a supervised safe ground. The landowners set up a nonprofit and they donated their parking lot to make this a place that homeless people can safely live. It's all fenced in and there are rules to follow.
For every one of these that's clean and nice looking with rules, there's 10 of them that are nasty under a freeway where there's trash and feces and needles all over the place. And a bunch of nasty people running around. And guess what? They'll set up a tent on the sidewalk. Any place they feel like it, they'll just set up a tent. And guess what? They throw their trash out and then they move on. So when they get told to leave, there's always trash, needles, feces, trash. So what you're looking at right now is the exception. So this is like one of the spots where they have it kind of cleaned and looking nice. It's way nasty and way worse than that 9 times out of 10. So this is like the only exception to the rule.
I was told that a lot of people want to stay here, but there's little room. There's very few camps set aside for the homeless in Sacramento like that. And boy, do they need it, because this place is out of control. You don't even have to go 10 feet to see what's happening around Sacramento. Just outside this camp, I saw a guy peeing on a wall right outside this safe zone. Maybe because they didn't let him in. I don't know. I spent the whole day. Way north of downtown is where I saw that massive homeless camp along the road. This is just nuts. It goes on for nearly a mile. I think the city's actually glad to see
All right, so there's sections of Sacramento area where it's like all RVs, but old, broken down, shitty RVs like this. So there's certain sections that are like one step up from the tent bums. So one step up from the tent bums are the RV bums. So the RV bums all get together in a certain area of town, and it'll be like 2-3 miles long, nothing but a stretch like that. Look what's on the screen. You think they use the toilet in their RV? No. They pee and poo right out there and shit, right next to where they're living. And so you'll see an entire mile stretch like this. And these are the ones living one step up from the tent bums. They've got it a little better. Mad Dog, yeah, this is happening in every major city, but here in California, it's extra, extra bad. So here in California, we got some really nice areas that are rich and ritzy, and then we have the absolute scummiest of the poorest hoods, nasty places. But you're seeing more and more of this. So if you live in a major city where the weather doesn't get too cold, you'll see a lot more bums because, like here in Sacramento, we don't have snow. So if you live in a city that doesn't get snow, well, they're more inclined to show up and live there because now they don't even have to worry about the weather. Misanthropic says, you lived in a van too. You were being way too harsh on the homeless. No, I did that on purpose, though. I purposely lived in a van for a year, and I drove around with $10,000 in the van. I was never like that. The van was expensive to drive around, and I drove it to Reno and Santa Cruz, and I stayed by the beach, and I whipped slot machines all night long. Like I said, I had $10,000 in cash in the van. I have never lived like that ever, nor will I ever let myself get like that. I'm not being harsh on them. These people don't end up there out of bad luck. Does bad luck happen to some of them? Yeah. But all of them? No. They put themselves in that position. You can't get down to your last dollar and buy drugs with it, and then beg, and then buy drugs, and then beg and buy drugs, and beg and buy drugs, and then claim that someone else did that to you. That's 99% of these people did this to themselves. If you don't like the truth, you don't have to listen to it. So there's people out there that'll be like, oh no, it's everyone else's fault that those homeless people are where they're at. No, it's not. You know how easy it is for me to blow all my money on stupid shit and end up there? It could be pretty easy if I made a bunch of bad decisions. I could put myself there. If I was to like start making really terrible decisions today, I could put myself there, but it would be my fault. And then lies run the world almighty when says, how the fuck do you whip slot machines? Oh, it's a secret of the pros, and I've given it away several times. So if you've been watching me for a long time, you'll already know how I kind of do that. Let's just say not all machines are created equal, and people who are really smart can find advantages. And if you're smart and patient, you can find and play advantage machines when you have an advantage and win, which is what I do and have done for many years. Since 2019. So I just want to show you guys the problem we're up against. This is getting increasingly worse. So every time they, every year it gets increasingly harder on these people to get out of the position they're in, and then more people end up in this position. And so it sucks if you've had any bad luck happen to you and you found yourself in a tough situation. But you should also be doing everything you can to get yourself out. And that's where many people go wrong. They don't do everything they possibly can to get themselves out of a bad position. I've been in a bad position before where I had to turn to my family for help, and I was able to pay back my family in full, and I don't owe any of them anything. And so I know what it's like to ask for help, and I know what it's like to help myself and then pay back the debt that I accrued 100%. Trixie Andrews says, heard they putting homeless in abandoned spooky hotels now. Oh, they do all sorts of nasty shit. They'll give them a free bus ticket somewhere else. So a city that wants to fix their homeless problem will literally be like, here's a free bus ticket to anywhere you want to go. Just get on the bus and go. We'll literally buy you a free bus ticket up to $500 in value, but you have to go. You have to get on the bus and go. So that's a thing I've seen happen in certain cities is they ship hundreds of their homeless to other cities. Because that fixes the problem, right? Jake says you can build a tiny house for $5,000. Yeah, but here's the problem. You can give a homeless person a tiny house, but then they'll just have a place to shoot heroin. They won't go get a job and fix their life. So maybe a fraction, maybe like half of 1%, if you gave them a house and money, might actually change their life. But if you give one of these people that you're looking at on the side of the road a free tiny house for free electricity, you just gave them a place to shoot drugs. And then they'll expect still free benefits, free paraphernalia from the government, free everything. They'll expect it. Yeah, what I told you about the bus thing is real. That's how bad some cities want the problem taken care of. They'll just ship them somewhere else as long as it's someone else's problem, right? So yeah, the bus thing, I found out about it through this channel that I'm showing you guys because people were mentioning it. That's how some of these places were fixing their homeless issue.
See them in large groups like this. It makes them easier to deal with. It's unbelievable. It's everywhere here. There's a lot of homeless people in California who are here from other states. That's well known. But there's an underground practice going on here that's making this problem worse. California has all these drug treatment centers that recruit addicts in from other states. They get them in from, let's say, Oklahoma, and they give them a week of drug treatment for free, paid for by the state. Then when the state bennies run out, they throw them out into the streets. Of course, they don't have any money and they aren't clean and sober. What's even worse is some of these drug treatment centers have set up a bounty network. If you can send them an addict, they'll send you a check. So we have these junkie bounty hunters out there recruiting addicts to come to California. The hell? It's tragic that people get paid to go out and recruit vulnerable people and take advantage of them like that. California is finally changing its tune when it comes to its approach to housing. They've passed new laws to try to get developers to build more affordable housing, even in parts of town that were no build zones, like neighborhoods. And some people aren't very happy about that. They probably won't actually build the affordable housing, though. The developers usually just want to build units that actually make a lot of money.
All right, so just showing you guys, you know, that's just one city, and every city's got this issue, and so this can't keep going at this rate. Shit's getting bad fast. Why are you telling me I don't get it when I'm the one explaining it to you? Bro, I do get it. I'm telling everyone this is by design. This is a problem created on purpose. I'm telling you guys about this whole thing, so don't tell me I don't get it when I'm the one here showing the information. I'm the one who gathered all these clips together and is showing it to you. So I think I have an idea of what's going on. Dominic Z says can't 10 hobos get a Walmart job and pool their money to get a subsidized apartment? They just won't. Once a person is used to living on the street and having government benefits, free phone, free paraphernalia to do drugs, and they can just beg and get enough money to do drugs, they don't ever want to have a real job or real responsibility ever again. There's people who will claim they don't like being a street person, but they set their life up as a street person and have no want or desire to ever get out of it, even though they might claim that. And so, even like I said, if you try and give these people all the legs up you possibly could, they'll still blow it and go right back to their same behavior. And like in the amount of trash. So if somebody starts setting up a tent near your house or your office, your place of work, and then 2-3 people show up, then it turns into an encampment. Well, they're just going to leave their trash and shit right there. You think they're going to be super clean and cleanly and pick it all up? No. So they're just going to trash the joint. And so it's hard to feel sorry for them when at the same time they're just going to keep making the problem worse too. Here's a good point. Rogue Spear says there is no solution if this problem is being created. Those people need to help themselves. Yeah, as somebody called me a shill earlier for not offering solutions to these problems. Like I said, I'm just a dude. I can't fix this. I didn't create it. I can identify the problem, but I can't fix it. I don't have the means or the resources. And the people that do have the means and resources are doing whatever they can to not fix the problem and make it worse. And so, shit, man, like, that's not even getting into the whole drug thing, which, of course, is ran by the crooked evil government. So the crooked evil government is keeping people addicted to these debilitating drugs, which cause them to be out on the streets. Brenda says, my son chose that life for 5 years. San Francisco was a promised land for his addiction. Yeah, it's just like an absolute evil cesspool shithole. And I used to like San Francisco before I was awake to the truth. I used to like walking around the city and eating at the pizza places and going to San Francisco Giants games and shit like that. So I used to enjoy the city, but I have not stepped foot in that city in years, and I have no intentions of going back. The last time I was even close to that city was I went to Pacifica, which is a nice ocean town, but I won't drive and hang out in San Francisco. Nope, not anymore. One of the worst liberal shitholes ever. And yeah, I can see how that type of life would intrigue people who aren't mentally strong enough to understand the evil that they're even getting involved with. I missed a super chat. OJ and Toothpaste says, hopefully Colfax, California never gets that crap too cold. California is a very diverse state. It's big and it's stretched out and it encompasses lots of different types of areas. So in California, you'll have big cities like San Francisco, LA that are just trash heaps, Sacramento as well. But then we also have mountain towns where the population is conservative, and there's white families and shit. And there's certain areas that are just completely different, where it's like farmers and cowboys and shit. So you wouldn't think of California as a farmer and cowboy state, but in the middle of California is a shitload of farms and cows, which inevitably means there's rednecks and cowboys. So we have rednecks and cowboys here, and we have homeless and libtards and anything and everything in between. And so the thing about this state is it's so diverse from top to bottom, and each area from top to bottom is so different that it has a just completely different population and people and the vibe. And so your experience literally changes depending what area you are in. So there's certain areas that are white and rich, and they keep the homeless out of those areas. Then there's areas like I showed you that are absolutely nasty, like zombies on meth and fentanyl run the place. So it's a very crazy state. And a lot of Californians are moving out and going to other states, and they're infecting those states. So you're seeing a lot of California issues in other states too. Rogue Spear says the city here in northern Ontario is going with safe consuming sites, and the tent cities have taken over a huge section in the bush behind downtown and growing. Also, Seattle is another one. So all the West Coast major cities are being turned into like gigantic homeless encampment cities, basically. So Seattle has a huge homeless problem as well, and a huge prostitution problem. They've basically become like a lawless city. And so it's by design, man, for sure. Yeah, Paul says, I heard something about another boogeyman lockdown coming. Yeah, they didn't go through all that rigmarole just to never mention it again. That was training for the next time. So they can invent a different boogeyman disease, or they can just say there's a new variant of the original boogeyman disease. And they can literally tomorrow, if they wanted to, tell all the minimum wage employees to put back on their muzzle and kick out anybody like me or you who walks in without a muzzle. They could go back to that tomorrow, and the sheep would comply and go right back to doing it. As quick as they turned it on and then turned it off, they can turn it back on again. All right, y'all. I'm gonna go ahead and get off here. I've been on for over 2 hours. So I'll go ahead and shut this one down. But thank you guys for hanging out and listening to what I had to say today. I know it's some heavy truth, shit you don't want to think about, but it is the truth whether you like it or not. And so I'll be maybe doing some other videos on this topic, maybe some smaller, shorter videos. But anyway, I want to thank you guys for joining me today. Everyone who donated, thank you very much. I appreciate it. All the comments that I missed, I will go back and reread them all when I watch the replay. So thank you guys for hanging out with me tonight and being here and all that good stuff. And I'll try to mix up the content so that it's not just football stuff, but I'll try and put out some other different stuff. All right, y'all. So until next time, thank you for being here. And I will catch you guys on the next video or the next live stream. And so take care, everyone. And do your best to try and keep all those nanobots from getting inside you. But I don't know if you're going to be able to do that. So I'll leave you with that wonderful thought. And wish all of you guys a fond farewell until next time. So have a good night. Peace.